Hello, this is Michael Tillinger. Today is Sunday, the 7th of November, and as promised, I'm bringing you some feedback from my first visit to the traditional lands of South African traditional leaders, the particular leader that has signed the engagement letter with us to implement the One Small Town strategy in these tribal lands. On the 4th and the 5th of November, I spent 2 days driving more than 1,000 kilometers with 3 appointed representatives of the community that were brought out and introduced to me by the advisor to the king. And they accompanied me with 2 other friends of mine, Elizabeth and Bashiko, who came along for the journey to see what the opportunities are in these traditional lands. And I must say that my heart is filled with joy and despair, anger, frustration, but overwhelmingly optimism for the opportunities that lie ahead. First of all, I must say that I'm disgusted to see what the government has done to the lands of the traditional leaders. There is absolutely zero infrastructure, zero funding, nothing is happening in these lands. It is almost as if there is an intentional destruction of these lands by the government. But that is an opportunity for us, and this is exactly why it is such an important moment and an important moment in history for us to be able to engage with the traditional leaders in South Africa and hopefully other traditional and tribal leaders around the world as the weeks and months go by, to implement the One Small Town in these parts of the world, because these lands are ready for anything and everything. We saw the attempts by people to try and uplift themselves, to try and grow food, to try and start businesses from materials, building materials, bricks and wood and timber and all kinds of cattle breeding, farming, small bakeries, a mill, a flour mill for corn flour, and so much more, so many other small businesses. But mostly what struck me is that there's very little, if any, large industry. In fact, the lands that we covered in the 2 days, and we drove more than 1,000 kilometers, I saw virtually zero large industry except the mill for the corn flour. So that presents us with an incredible opportunity. We have in these tribal lands, these traditional lands, a small river that runs through it. We have boreholes that provide water for people everywhere, because the delivery of water to people's houses and farms is non-existent. It is really an area that the government has failed. And so all of this provides us with an opportunity. So all I can say to you is that it was a grueling 2 days, disturbing, exhausting. That's why it took me more than a day to recover to be able to make this video. I was just mentally and emotionally and physically drained. Not only that, the roads that we had to travel are so bad that in some places so bad that my combi actually broke, and we had to limp about an hour and a half to the closest town, where I found a mechanic that fortunately was really great and helped us. Took about an hour and a half to fix the front wheel and fix the brakes that came loose because of the bad road. So what we also saw was I reckon the highlight of the entire trip was the final stop, which was the border of the traditional lands, borders on nature reserve, a game reserve in South Africa, in the Northwest Province. And we met the caretakers, the chief environmental officers there, and also the people that look after the community projects, community development projects there. And they were just so excited to see somebody come and meet them and talk about potential community development projects and industry development. And they're just so keen and ready to start anything and that will uplift the area, that will bring tourists, more tourists, that will uplift the people of their community, because they're part of that community. So all in all, I believe that we have incredible opportunities, from growing food on a very, very large scale, growing medicinal, traditional plants, traditional herbs, traditional medicines on a large scale. The area is big in corn and wheat. We saw some commercial farmers harvest their wheat, very, very large scale wheat harvesting that we saw. Lucky to see that. So we now know also that the area is good for wheat. So corn and wheat is absolutely, we saw guys making toys next to the road, beautiful wooden toys. So all kinds of ideas are flowing. And the job now begins to go and sit down and plan the infrastructure, plan the list of businesses, the agricultural and industrial opportunities to turn into business opportunities for the community, and then offer that to the investors around the world. So I'm very excited. I need to recharge. I'm exhausted. I'm drained. It took much more out of me than I ever could have imagined, and it filled me with, I guess, overwhelming anger at our government. But at the same time, I recognize the opportunities, and I met many, many people. We saw people that are growing food, people that are breeding cattle, people that are growing tomatoes and other herbs, and so much more. And then eventually the game reserve, that presents an incredible opportunity because it's on the boundary of these traditional lands, to incorporate some of the land, and there's a lot of land, and turn that into some wild game breeding and rehabilitation and I guess just everything and anything to do with wildlife protection and breeding. So I'm going to go away and put some ideas together, talk to the community leaders. The big work lies ahead now. We have to appoint a task team leader and a headman in every village. There are 32 villages, and those task team leaders, together with a headman of each village, will become our contact. And through those people, we will then disseminate through the advisor to the king. We'll distribute information, messages, share the information with the people, get ideas from the people, what kind of businesses they would like to see in their village, what they would like to see initiated. And we will work on incorporating all those ideas into proper, sound, well-developed business plans. And this is a big job ahead. So please go online. If you're not a patron of One Small Town yet, this is now when we need you more than ever before. Sign up, become a patron of One Small Town. Because the head office now needs funding so we can carry on doing this work, the infrastructural ground, foundational building work that needs to happen now, and not just in South Africa. We're doing this in Lebanon, we're doing this in Namibia, we're doing this in Croatia very soon, and also very, very soon in the United States, as soon as our first USA mayor signs up. So we are now entering, after 16 years, an era of action. No more talking about what we're going to do. We're now doing what we've been talking about for so many years. So if you're new to One Small Town, please watch all the videos, get up to speed, and support us, support me, support all the ambassadors in the various countries, and sign up to be a patron. And let's make the first small town, wherever it may be, whether it's Lebanon or South Africa, let's make the first small town that we launch in a few months a great success and an example for thousands of small towns to follow. Until next time and the next update, this is Michael Tillinger. Bye for now.